A whole entire state, huh? Oh, I'm hearing this upscale. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do to have it and keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact, here we are to review chapter 221 of Chainsaw Man, which is known as Safe Battle? How? Well, I guess, legally, well, ironically, legally speaking, it technically is a safe battle? Because no one can perish now. But, like, doesn't it still hurt? Like, just because Big D is gone, or I suppose, in this case, literally Lil D, just because Lil D is gone, doesn't mean that Big P is gone. Like, it should still all hurt. I don't think it's gonna feel, but I mean, like, safe in the sense that there's no, like, real... I mean, I guess the conclusion is still, like, you can still knock somebody out. But, like, have we seen Pochita get knocked out? I think we've seen him heavily battle damage to the point where he can't move. We've seen that. In fact, I think that was literally in the last fight with Yoru. But I don't think we've ever seen him, like, knocked out. So that could be a hypothetical. Like, can Yoru get knocked out right now? Like, if Pochita just hits her in the back of the neck, is she fried? I don't know. We're in an interesting spot. But let's not waste more time. Let's hop right into chapter 221 of Chainsaw Man. Safe Battle. Alright. Okay. Interesting. So is it just... I'm assuming this is Michigan, right? Like, all the buildings coming together. But if it's just the building, it looks like the people are, like, falling out. So, okay. Me and a lot of other people assume that the moment Yoru said, Michigan, come to me, like, everyone was just gonna be brought with Michigan, and it was gonna be, like, a gargantuan sword. But, like, they're making it out fine. Looks like they don't have a painful, reduced existence. So... they made it. They made it. But I guess, like, everything they own is gone. Those state, but, like, it's just buildings right now. So I guess it's not, I mean, like, it's bad, but, like, at least the state itself, so at least yours, at least yours not literally taking the state and throwing it. She's taking, like, the land. Not really, no, she's not taking it. She's taking buildings. She's taking, like, the buildings that are on the state. So not as much as an upscale, but, like, still a really insane upscale. Think about how many cities there are in Michigan. Think about, like, Detroit alone, as if it were just compiled all into one spot, and, like, presumably, this is probably happening very, very fast. Like, before Chainsaw Man next attack, before Pochita's next attack gets off. So, like, somebody calc, because I have no idea how you would calc this, someone calc how much energy it would take to collapse all of the buildings in the state of Michigan into, like, it really depends on how big the sword is, too, because, like, this may be, like, a little low-key matter manipulation feat. Like, if it's, like, a sword, then that's one thing. Well, actually, no, I feel like that'd be even crazy. I feel like the smaller it is, the smaller the Michigan sword ends up being. The more insane the feat is. Because, like, if it's just, like, all the buildings smashed together into one, like, super sword that Yoru needs to wield with, like, holding the very tip of it, that's one thing. But at the same time, it's, like, an actual, like, that's actually, like, a crazy compression feat. So no matter what, we're getting upscale. Let's see. Oh, but it does look like it's shrinking. Alright, so someone calc how much it would be if in entire states we have the specific state in what, 1999? So, like, however big all the cities were in Michigan in 1999, every bit of, like, seemingly just buildings though. I don't see any other, like, are those cars? Maybe. No, these all look like buildings. So maybe the cars were left too. Let's see. But the people were left, which is, I guess, a good thing for them. Let's take a look. Yeah, I would also be. Oh. Wait, did she take the land? Oh, is that meant to be? Ah, okay. I think that's a Fumiko. Right? If I'm not mistaken, I think that's one of the Fumikos. So she's recording what's happening. So that's, like, just sort of statement in her head. She didn't even actually write that down. She was like, oh, like, the entire state of Michigan is gone. But did she, maybe she actually did take the landmass? I know I'm very bad with geography, but I know Michigan does, like, have the Great Lakes by it. So maybe they fell into the Great Lakes, or maybe you're actually, no, I think they may still just fall into the Great Lakes. So, like, if you were to lift the state, there's still, like, the mantle underneath the state, right? So, like, maybe they just fell into the water. All right, let's see. Ah! Jeez! Okay. Okay, off the top of my dome, because I'm assuming the state shrunk, and that's why he's only, like, cut in half and not actually Am I stupid? She said, we're making jokes about her throwing Michigan. That's not... Bonds in Michigan? Yeah, Michigan. Michigan sword. Fumiko, the state of Michigan collapses. Am I stupid? Am I stupid? The Kishimoto, not Kishimoto, wrong. The Fujimoto forget. Oh, am I stupid? Oregon on a map. That's not. Wait, what? Why does she have Oregon? Did she call too? Am I tweet? But okay, someone still needs to calculate that though. Obviously, like bisexual cheat is still insane as a feat, but. Is she confused? Am I confused? Did Fujimoto forget which state? Like, what? USA, Oregon. I didn't miss a chapter. This is 221. The last chapter was 220. Okay. Alright. I'm very confused. I almost wanted to, if I wasn't scared of what's in the I almost go to the comments and be like, why does she have Oregon? Okay. I mean, it worked. And someone needs to count that, right? Because they're in Japan. And presumably, this did intercept one of Pochita's attacks, right? Because she called it at the end. So, however fast you think Pochita is. Someone needs to calc however fast you think Pochita is, because this thing blitzed them, clearly. It sliced them in half. So, that. And then, seemingly, it depends on whether or not you take the buildings or just the land, or the landmass, plus the buildings. Because, like, the people were left behind. So, if you assume it took just the building, right? We'll lowball it. What is the calc? Like, that's gotta be, like, a weird... That's probably one of those weird calcs that has to be, like, in a weird roundabout way, like multi-cont, or, like, planetary, or moon level. Like, and you may be like, that doesn't make any sense. Vaporizing a town, reducing a town to ash is country level. A town. Singular. Yoru summoned a whole state from halfway across the planet. It sliced Chainsaw Man in half, meaning it blitzed them, and it's literally the mass being compressed to do that. And this all happened, presumably, like, in an instant. Once again, just because of how fast Pochita should be moving. This is one of those dumb, stupid upscale. Dumb, stupid canon upscale. I don't know why she has Oregon, though. I don't get that. I really don't get that. Alright, Chainsaw Man split in half. Oh, okay. So wait, now I'm actually a little bit more confused. So did the Michigan show get off screen? Because it doesn't look like this is her summoning it. Well, actually, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I can't tell, because this is obviously a double spread. And I'm not going to show double spreads, because I'm scared. But, unless I'm mistaken, I'm guessing this is, like, her, like, essentially when she called Spagooter and Tank, right? Like, she called them to herself, and then, like, they went through. And then she had her arms out, so she caught them, then she instantly backed. So maybe that's this? Where, like, for some reason, the Michigan sword that's now the Oregon sword, it did come through Pochita. And then she caught it and was thrown back. Through, or not even through, just split in half. And then Pochita was split in half. Interesting, though. It looks like, so he went from upside down to standing. Seemingly. Oh, wait, no. Maybe not, because I remember, I think they're standing on, like, the underworld door, right? And the underworld door is parallel, so, like, technically Pochita's still standing right here. Right, he's standing here. Since I didn't see the, doors, I didn't see their feet, I was like, oh, are they in midair? But no, I think Pochita's... He was standing the whole time. So he got split in half, but he didn't even fall. So, Pochita kind of got it with the sauce. Let's see. I won! What? Yoru, it's over. Like, knock it... Well, no, it's not over. Knock him out. Tear his heart... Like, you have ways. I think, like, notably, even with Lil D being erased, you do have ways to incapacitate him. You've done this prior. Though, admittedly, I do wonder, because clearly, Pochita's not even devouring anything. Though, people did point out. Technically, by eating Lil D, who for all intents and purposes is the strongest character in this universe, presumably even with her powers sealed, considering with her powers awakened, she would one-shot everybody, and obviously, you know, I'd say the biggest fear of every living thing ever is to be not living, so, like, Lil D probably is, like, the strongest D. So Pochita probably did get, like, Giga Omni amped by devouring her. Because I forgot that technically Pochita gets amps, and, like, Ds get amps from consuming other Ds, so, like, technically, for all intents and purposes, Pochita should be the strongest, kind of, sort of. But clearly he's not, like, AP-wise, or like, stats-wise, because Yoru's still, like, out here blitzing him. And, like, bisecting him. He's just taking no. So, like, I guess maybe he probably doesn't need. If I had to ask, I guess he probably doesn't need blood to regenerate. I'm assuming that's why he's just casually, like, he didn't drink anything here. And while he did, you know, have a whole half canister of Lil D in order to refuel himself, still, a whole chunk of that got knocked out. You can clearly see it all over the ground here. It didn't slurp any of this up. He just regenerated. So, I guess Pochita may just be going with the sauce right now. Even if Yoru does manage to, like, get capacitated, I guess it wouldn't matter in the same way, because he probably just keeps coming back. Let's see. What? And notably, notably, he's not even revving his engine at all here, right? Like, notably, I remember the big thing, at least when Pachu's previous fights, like, someone would have to pull the starter, whether it be he himself or somebody else. But in this case, no one's pulling his starter. In fact, his starter was arguably split in half here. But he just comes back. Alright. And then he's immediately back on it. Though, Yoru does react in time, so... Not bad. So your reaction time does block with... I think Yoru's confused. I don't think I'm tweaking, and I don't think Fujimoto forgot. I just think Yoru doesn't know the difference between Michigan and Oregon, and then, like, made the Michigan sword say Oregon. Because that's like, the reason I'm so blown away by it is, like, me, even knowing how bad I am at geography, those aren't the same word. Those aren't the same word, and they're not on anywhere near the same side of the country. Like, Oregon is in the upper, and, like, admittedly, I get why, like, Oregon would be an easier pull, because it's closer, technically, in the grand scheme of things. It is closer, because it's on the west coast. Michigan's not on the east coast, but it's barely in the middle of the country. It's like basically a whole quarter over from the east coast. So, like, they're not the same state. They don't have the same name. Nothing is the same about those two places. But she has the Oregon sword. I'm assuming it's because Yoru just doesn't know. But as many people pointed out, Yoru's powers have kind of always, but now especially work on cartoon logic. Like, the ultimate cartoon logic. So, yeah, I suppose if she says Michigan is Oregon, Oregon is Michigan. A rectangle is always, a square is always a rectangle, and a rectangle is always, but not a, well, no. I guess in this case, that would break that equivalency, right? Instead of it usually just being like, a square is always a rectangle, but a rectangle isn't always a square, is now a square is always a rectangle, and a rectangle is always a square, because it's whatever Yoru wants. Let's see. Ah! What? Yoru. Isn't this what you wanted? Didn't you want the fade? Aren't you happy? Aren't you happy right now, Yoru? Let's see. What did you eat? Chainsaw Man! It's like wait, English. Chainsaw... Sorry, I can't read. Let's see. What did you eat? Chainsaw Man! It's like an end to our battle no longer exists! Okay. Fujimoto may have forgotten, because now she's actually saying Oregon. I mean, she may be but, like, once again, she speaks Japanese! Why is the sword in English? I mean, like, you know, Japanese people do learn English. But, like, what, like, now you're talking about the people of Oregon? Am I tweaking? Hold on. I'm gonna put, am I stupid? I may be stupid. I'm actually... Oregon, Michigan? Is that a thing? It's not! There is... Oh, wait. Okay. That's so oddly specific, though. She called the whole state... What? There is an Oregon township in Michigan. Why? You know what? Oh, okay. I literally even see a Reddit post about it. I'm gonna get a bit further into it. I'm gonna check the Reddit post. Mid-review, I'm gonna check the comments of this. Because I'm actively worried I'm tweaking. But, Yoru, at the same time, do you not know what, like, knocking somebody out is? Or incapacitating them? Or, like, you could, like, really test it. I don't know. Well, to be fair, with how powerful Pochita is, for all intents and purposes, La Bomba Nuclear probably wouldn't do much to him. Because, like, this killing is actually kind of stupid. But... throw one at him. See what he can truly come back from. See if you can knock him out. Like, there are other ways to end the battle, other than... That's why, like, in versus battles, it's usually by, like, knockout and/or. It's not just, oh, if you can't... somebody, you can't beat them. In that case, like, Bond from Seven Deadly Sins would be dumb stupid in versus battles. I'm talking about, like, pre-EOS Bond, who has immortality. Like, typically, no, the most powerful Bond in all Seven Deadly Sins is the Bond... post-purgatory, but pre-Elaine revival. If someone just hit and did that man core, he'd be the strongest in the verse. But, with it being the case, that Bond is immortal, but you can still beat that bond by outstatting him and knocking him out. Like, he still can be knocked out. And I feel like the same thing is here for Pochita. But I guess maybe what probably is happening here is that Yoru just, like, she had the win con for the battle in her head be Lil D. But since Lil D is gone, she's still locked on that win con, but it's just not registering. Like, it's like an ad lib, or like the Mad Libs, where, like, there's a word missing now. Where she had, like, in order to claim victory in this battle, I need to make sure that Chainsaw Man dies. But now, it's, in order to achieve victory in this battle, I need to make sure Chainsaw Man blanks. And, like, Yoru just doesn't know what to fill that blank in with anymore, because she had a specific idea, but she's so one-track minded now, since she can't even think of, oh, I could knock him out, oh, I could eviscerate him. Oh, we can keep testing this, but let's see. People of Oregon, give me power! Yeah, so she says Oregon. Fujimon, you gotta be messing. There's no way. There's no, like, it's so oddly specific, it could mean Oregon Township. It could literally mean Oregon Township, and that's such an oddly specific thing, since Oregon's actually a state, and she did say the entire state of Michigan. And, like, even last chapter ends with a Fumiko statement. It's not an Erasure statement, but a Fumiko statement about Michigan, specifically, vanishing. I don't know. Yoru may just be dumb. Yoru may just be an idiot. Let's see. Up. Oh, okay. And, okay, so she's confused. She's confused. She doesn't... Did she say Michigan? Hold on, maybe she doesn't say Michigan. Maybe this is a translation thing too. Well, I'm not sure. I'm trying to blame. No, she says Michigan sword, so she knows what Michigan is. So like it's the ultimate nonsense. Then Yoru is just literally nonsense now, which I guess is weirdly okay. But, like, Yoru's literally just nonsense now. Because she says Michigan sword, she gets an Oregon sword, she says Oregon, Michigan was known to disappear last time, but she says Oregon, and then the people in Michigan, or what was Michigan, vanish. In order to, okay. Like, I know it isn't, I know some of y'all are gonna be like, that's man, it's not that deep. It is that deep, because it was like, all the memes were infinitely funnier when Yoru was just, like, throwing in actual, like, I saw an actual PNG of the state of Michigan being thrown at people. Oregon's more boring. He doesn't have his unique shape. No offense to my people from Oregon. But, like, in terms of, like, the funny image, now I gotta put Oregon. That's not as fun. Like come on, it's fun. It's like Michigan, you throw, like, a pizza at somebody. Let's see. Hold on. Poor Fumiko number 34786. I forget how many of them there are. I don't think we ever got a concrete number how many Fumikos there are. But it's interesting that, like, she knows what's happening. It's like she well, actually, no, it makes sense she knows what's happening, because she knows all the D stuff. So she's like, oh, we're fried. Okay, Oregon slash. I love how all the other Ds are watching, like, what is happening? Let's see. Okay, Oregon slash. But, like, you did this already, or it's not gonna do anything. Though it looks like she bisected him horizontally this time instead of vertically, which is actually probably worse. Let's see. Oh, never mind. Okay. So it actually did do more. She did pulverize him this time. You can see by, actually, it's hard to tell, because this is his face. Chainsaw is broken. Then he instantly regenerates, returns everything, then he's back to himself. Alright, so she didn't really pulverize him, but she did more damage, I guess, on the white. She, like, blew a massive hole in him, and, like, that hole reverberated. It's like a shockwave that went throughout his body, but it doesn't matter. Let's see. This is the end of the line, Chainsaw Man. Behold, my trump card! What? Are you gonna say, you took the people, you took the land of Oregon? Michigan? I don't know. But let's see. Behold, my trump card! People of But is this actually Virginia, though? Is this actually Virginia? Why is that your trump card? There's gotta be like some, like, I know the reason she chose Michigan last time is because Michigan was actually, like, very important in production of materials for war. I think that was the whole point. That was the whole joke about her choosing Michigan. I'm not sure what the reference is for Oregon, though clearly it's meant to be something. But now Virginia, I mean, like, I know it's important. Virginia is important, and I'm unfortunately, the two things your boy sucks with the most are history and geography. So social studies absolutely whoop me. So I actually don't know, but there's probably some historical connotation to Virginia in terms of, like, major war, which is why Yoru's trump card is them in particular. But she just took all of them? All of them? All of them? Like, okay. What is she gonna do? What is she gonna do now? Let's see. Splash. Interesting, though. Interesting that it's a splash sound effect each time. Like, it made sense while these guys are in the water, because, like, they're disappearing out of the water. But now it's a splash sound effect even here when they're on dry land. Let's see. Splash. No! Okay, so I'm assuming... Because, like, yeah, a weird thing I do know. A certain governmental organization did lose an entire La Bomba Nuclear off the coast of South Carolina. Like, that's just a thing. But there are also, like, multiple cases of that. Like, there's not just, like, a La Bomba Nuclear off the coast. There's also, like, a weird hole in South Carolina where there's just, like, the remnants of a La Bomba Nuclear test. There's that. And they're like, I think they're, like, 7? There's 7 cases where, like, for one reason or another, a certain governmental organization ended up, like, losing actual La Bomba Nuclears. Or their warheads, at least. So, like, I'm assuming, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm assuming something Virginia nuclear stuff. But alright, nuclear punch. Let's see if this does, I mean, this is what I was talking about. She's not hitting him with a bomb nuclear itself, but a nuclear punch. Let's see. Is this going to atomize him? Is he going to come back from this too? Let's see. Why does her fist lose color there? What happened? Maybe Joe just forgot to color it in. Maybe this is... Well, actually, I'm assuming this is... Oh! Okay, it first loses color because it's meant to be exploding. Everything gets so bright because it's about to explode. All the D's, bro. They're like... Wait. Are we too close? Wait, are we about to get fried? Let's see. And all the other people in Japan. Oh, well, I get why that's relevant. Alright. Boom. Bright light. Alright. This seems really large. Oh, wow. She even blew apart the pathway to the underworld. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's bigger than any one in recorded human history. And that's it. That's it. Okay. I'm gonna check the Reddit post right now. This was a short chapter. The chapter's only 13 pages. And there's a couple spreads. Let me see. This has to be a joke, right? Let me see. This can actually be the Michigan sword, right? Please tell me how close this Frank is right now. It doesn't even say Michigan is Oregon. They aren't even close to each other. Michigan, your entire state off screen. Was it a mistake? Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay, I'll admit, but no, here's the reason, okay, because I'm seeing a lot of people saying what I thought. Well, actually, no, people are saying something different. People are saying she used the Michigan sword, but it was just off-screen, so she moved on to the Oregon sword. But, like, that's a weird thing to do. Like, why off-screen that, for one? And for two, this is clearly Michigan. Like, unless we're supposed to assume that this Fumiko is the Oregon Fumiko as well, this is clearly Michigan that's being consumed and then being dropped, because that's falls off Flash chapter, right? These are the same buildings. And then she says, I'm assuming this has to be a translation thing. I may just, who translated this chapter? But no, because this is art. Maybe Michigan was a mistranslation from last chapter? Let me. I'm scared of what the comments will say. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to doopy whoopy. Bloopy scoopy. And I'm going to run down to the comments. Let me see. Okay. 2 seconds passed. Ended. Oh yeah. I did see a point in the comment. Someone said, yeah, I guess the gates of the underworld are destroyed. So, like, are Earth and the underworld going to start merging now? Like, what happens when all those doors are destroyed? That's a good question. Was Chainsaw Man even about anymore? Okay. Endless fight. A few states. Okay. I guess Michigan just got off screened? And I guess this, like, if there are no mistranslations, then Michigan was just useless. Like we ended last chapter with her saying Michigan sword, and then didn't matter. It was off screen. So she moved on to the Oregon sword. These are the people of Oregon, and this is another Fumiko. That would also explain them falling into the water, because like I mentioned, Oregon is on the west coast. So they could have fallen into what I suppose is now like the rush of water that would come from the west coast. After, you know, the whole landmass disappeared. Though, realistically, the mantle should still be there. But regardless. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed. I would have loved to see the Michigan sword. It would have been neat, but it could have arguably just been off-screened. It didn't work. Like, and I think ultimately that's kind of what the big point of the current battle is. The battle, if Pochita really can, if he can just come back from this, right? Like, and remember, no one's going to perish. Pain and suffering haven't been eaten, so like they should be in horrific states after this. But like, no one's going to perish. Even these D's here, they won't perish. Nothing's going to end. So like, I'm assuming that's why Fujimoto off-screened it, because it's just meant to be a continuous message to Yoru that, hey, this isn't gonna work, and this isn't gonna work, and this isn't gonna work, and this isn't gonna work. So we are kind of in a weird endless battle simulator, and unless Yoru changes objectives to knocking Pochita out, we're kind of just stuck here. I mean, I'm down with it. More upscale for me. No. I love being able to put Chainsaw Man above MHA. No. So like, we take those. This is a weird chapter because like I have nothing else to say other than Chainsaw Man upscale, and I kind of wanted to see the Michigan sword. Not kind of, I really wanted to see it. It would have been neat. Though admittedly, I actually I'm a little underwhelmed by the sword's design. Like assuming this is Oregon, right? Like this is the Oregon sword. The Michigan sword was off screen. With how creative a lot of Yoru's weapons designs have been previously, I am kind of sad that it's just the state and country name. Like, I get it, it's streamlined, and obviously it's just not supposed to work. So I get why Fujimoto didn't put too much effort into it, but it would have been neat. Like, it could have been an important building from Oregon. Who knows, the Michigan sword could have been an important building. Like, something more unique. Because now it's just like, eh. And even then, she sacrificed, like, a multi-million people population, and just, it was a punch. Mainly explosive punch, but a punch. So, like, I don't know. We'll see. Can't wait to see her sacrifice, I don't know, Florida for a nuclear. I have no idea. But regardless, a weirdly W, like, this is a weird W chapter. I'll admit, because like, in a weird way, nothing happens this chapter. But but like nothing in terms of like progressing. That's the whole point, right? Like, this is one of those weird Fujimoto things where nothing happened, but everything happened, right? Like, presumably, at least, depending on how much of the fight was off screen, 2 whole states are just gone. Maybe Michigan's people are still okay, because it seems to be her first nuclear punch, but like, even if Michigan's people are okay, and Oregon's people were sacrificed, like, 2 whole states are missing. And that's a massive upscale, considering how fast they have to reach to actually blitz Pochita. And Pochita's shown to be, like, real immortal. Like, he got the Giga regen buff of Doom and Despair. Notably, he's not even doing damage to Yoru anymore. Like, he's still clearly weaker and slower than Yoru. At least that's what it seems to be the case. He didn't damage her at all this chapter. And he's able to react to him consistently. But, at least in terms of regen, like, he's just unstoppable. And no one can perish. Though, admittedly, I am a little, I want to extrapolate more. If there's one thing I do want to see before this presumably gets undone, right? I highly doubt. I mean, a lot of people have assumed that a world without Lil D is a world that Denji and Pochita want, which is possible. So in that case, maybe this doesn't get undone. We just end the series this way. But I do kind of want to see, like, the effects of a world that can't perish. Because there are many things in life that still are bad, even without the end result of perishing. So, like, I want to see some, I hope we get to see the aftermath of all these humans who were just in the vicinity of the nuclear punch. I want to see what happened to the I want to see what happens in a world where nothing can perish, but things can still get hurt. Things can still feel pain. And, like, Pochita's cool and all, but Pochita instantly regenerates. Yoru's cool and all, Yoru instantly regenerates. That doesn't really hit. I want to see humans. So, Fujimoto, cook it up. But overall, a W chapter. Once again, Yoru's cartoon logic, just cartooning all over the place, is interesting. It's a very, I will admit, it's a very apt commentary on war. At least of how it's done historically, right? Or like how it's been handled. If you think about it, right? The lengths that humans have gone to find other ways to destroy other humans is absurd. Like, think about, like, if we didn't grow up in the current world, if you were to go back in time, right? And I'm talking like back in time to like even 150 years ago, and tell somebody that they figured out how to split the atom. Not only would they know what the atom was at that point? I think maybe. Like, someone figured out how to split the atom. And they used that power to not, power entire cities, optimize, create a whole source of clean. No, to like annihilate entire cities of people. And that happened. Like it just did. And like some places that have been affected by nuclear, like they still can be done. Like that's some kind of crazy cartoon nonsense. I'm gonna cut this really, really small thing. It's gonna make a really, really big explosion. Think of automatic weaponry. People were already being slain en masse by bows and arrows. It is now common, depending on where you live, to just go and find something that makes you more than capable of just wiping out an entire area of people. Isn't that some cartoon logic? One thing that can fit in a person's hands can no scope wipe a whole squad of people if used properly, or even used improperly. That's some cartoon logic and nonsense and absurdity, and that's kind of what war is when you think about it, right? Not to sound all nothing. Violence isn't the answer. Like a lot of things could only have been solved by violence or the threat of violence. Unfortunately, violence is the one language that humans understand. I think there are many pieces of progress in world history that would not have happened, and there are many people who would be in different places, myself included, if it wasn't for violence. I'm not saying violence is it, but what I am saying is that the levels of violence we've gotten to is absurd. All for the sake of destroying ourselves. Like, let's be honest. No matter what you look like, no matter where you came from, no matter who you believe in, no matter what you're attracted to, no matter what, you're a human being. All we've done is find other ways to more effectively slaughter, annihilate human beings. Isn't that absurd? Isn't that silly? Isn't it kind of absurd and cartoonish how we've done that? And that's what I think this chapter, and Yoru in general now, at this point, you could argue always, but now, especially at this point, it's meant to represent. From her summoning the state, possibly the land or just the buildings, to then having Michigan Sword get off screen and then moving on to Oregon, to her nonsensical reaction, and very specifically, I think the ultimate point of this being like, war is kind of pointless and crazy and stupid and endless. It's the fact that Yoru doesn't even think about any other way to destroy. That actually feeds into it. I was asking earlier, hey, how come Yoru doesn't just knock Bushida out? In war, you don't knock people out. You slaughter them. But if you don't know or don't have the ability to slaughter, the war just becomes endless. Heck, in our world now, we have endless wars that are still being fought. Over nothing. Over nothing. Over nothing. People are being slaughtered in mass. For nothing. For nothing. Isn't that absurd? Isn't that cartoonish? Isn't that dumb? So is Yoru. So she's perfectly embodying her concept. So yeah, the chapter's gas, actually. Chapter's gas. It fits perfectly. Can't wait to see what happens next week. Dummy chapter. If you don't look to this review, please do me a favor and leave Punch of Nuclear. Why not? Instead of nuclear, Punch of Nuclear. It sounds like a nuclear punch, but like Punch of Nuclear in the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that little notification bell so you not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also you can have a picture down below where you support me for as well as $1 a month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member to the channel for as well as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some perks include the live reactions, here are the series I have to review, ad variations of all my videos, your name at the end of literally every single video, and if you're a $3 member, how you get your name read aloud at the end of every single video. On top of that, you get early access ad-free access to literally all my videos. And when I mean all of them, I mean all of them. Also, you're going to get like unmutilated versions of the videos. If you've noticed recently, like every video's mirrored and or backwards. It's not like that for patrons and members. The only reason I have to do that is because I like having a channel. I was recently at 3 strikes and down to 1, and I still don't want to risk it. So like every single review that's coming up on the channel is going to be mutilated. It won't be for patrons and members. They get their own version. It's just clean and regular, and unfortunately just looks like the old reviews now. But still, you get that as well. And on top of that, I think I covered all the major benefits for that. But in case you do want to do a one-time donation to your boy, whether it be for a short video, a YouTube short, or something equivalent, that'd be 5 beans to the Ko-Fi, or a longer regular video, 25 beans to the Ko-Fizzly in the comment section down below, or not in the comment section, in the description down below. And on top of that, I do have a second channel that got the reaction. You also, that's the other thing. As a Patreon member, you get early access to all those videos. Every last one of them. So like, you get that too. Once again, I'm playing a bulk record super for that, so I don't have to worry about it too much. And thusly, you're going to get a whole lot of videos, a whole bunch of different things. Bada bing, bada boom. That's in the second channel. It'll be linked in the description down below. But now I want to thank you so much for watching. Once again, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off. I'd like to thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Guilmi, Buddha Uda, Enzo, Swift Strike, Superflame Zero, Yuki Ally, Azo2404, Strike Man, Grim, Ollie, The Boy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Magic, CCC, Armando Furen, Dino, Heath Nelson, Hector Gonzalez, Black Sage, Zapro, Tim Thomas, Alex Kenny, Kaving, Julian Perez, 8SOA, Akulade Babatunde, Union I, RXN, Nevis97, Sheesh King, Logan Guzman, Karina Hernandez, Window Life, Dead Meme, Karudir, Reyna, Christian Carter, Jagoda, Keon Stewart, and Donovan McIntosh. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our line art tier patrons: A+A, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Dreads Owen, and Norgazi Andasov. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our ink tier members: King RTX and Shrimpo the 4 Shrimp 06. And I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a final thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Walking Munoz and Walkie Munoz.